Do I plan to release music? Yeah. I'm trying to drop soon. But I guess you guys don't like my song, so I gotta drop something else. You guys gotta train your ears.
Being born into the Kardashian West family basically means the cameras are already waiting before you can even say your own name. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West built massive careers where fame, headlines, fashion, music, and public attention all became part of the business. So when their daughter North West came along, the spotlight was practically built into her life from day one. Now, at 13, North is becoming more visible in entertainment and pop culture, and that has people asking some serious questions.
Just look at my daughter full makeup, singing She's in Love with an Emo Girl on TikTok, and I didn't have no say, no approval. Hey, what do you think? Do you think this would be cool or not? You know what I mean? And I'm the one that made them cool.
Does she genuinely enjoy performing and being in the public eye, or is growing up inside one of the most famous families on the planet naturally pulling her toward that world? Nobody outside the family can know exactly what happens behind closed doors, but the conversation gets complicated when a young person is involved.
I just got off the phone with Kim. I told her to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I said it's never again. I am her father. I know y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and media tries to promote something. I said, I'm not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney. I have a say-so.
The entertainment industry has a long history of child stars later speaking about the pressure that came with growing up in front of millions, so North's situation has people watching closely. Today, we're getting into how North became such a recognizable name at such a young age, the opportunities she's been given, and why some people are questioning how much exposure is too much for someone still growing up. But before we get into all of that, grab something to snack on from rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand loaded with Applewood smoked bacon jerky, freeze-dried goodies, butter toffee peanuts, and more. Because North's connection to fame goes way back. According to CBS News, by 2014, when she was only 1 year old, North was already being described as one of the most famous babies in the world.
And then when people say, oh, they're going to use this for you in court, I didn't have a say-so on whether or not they went to Sierra Canyon. Most men do not, there's no such thing as 50-50 custody in society today. That's not even, it always leans towards the mom. But right now, and I'm happy that you guys got to see just a small piece of what I dealt with.
And from that point on, the fame train kept moving. In 2015, when North was around 18 months old, she appeared in the music video for her dad Kanye West's song Only One. She also showed up on Keeping Up with the Kardashians and Cocktails with Khloe. But as North got older, her appearances started hitting different. What once looked like a famous kid simply appearing alongside her family was starting to look, at least to some viewers, like something much more planned. Then came 2019. At just 5 years old, North landed her first solo magazine cover for Women's Wear Daily's annual beauty issue, and people had questions. Why was a kindergarten-aged child getting a solo cover connected to the fashion and beauty world? What exactly was going on here? That moment added to the growing perception that North wasn't simply appearing because her family happened to be famous. Some critics began wondering whether she was slowly being positioned as the next generation of the Kardashian West brand. With Kim already turning fame, fashion, beauty, and social media into a massive business, people naturally questioned whether North was being introduced to that same machine at an unusually young age. Of course, nobody outside the family can fairly claim to know what North wanted or understood at that age. But the business side became even harder to ignore later on.
But then I'm not asked what's cool for my actual children in America. Like, nah, man.
When North was 9, Kim filed 4 trademark applications connected to North's name, signaling that there were potentially much bigger plans surrounding her public brand. 2 of those trademark applications were connected to advertising and entertainment, another covered toys, and the 4th was reportedly tied to a possible skincare line under North's name. Now wait a minute. A skincare brand connected to a 9-year-old? You gots to be playing. That detail definitely had people looking sideways and wondering just how early the Kardashian West business machine was getting started. At the same time, North was already appearing on TikTok, sharing beauty-related content and talking about products she liked. So from a branding perspective, you could see how the pieces might connect. But considering her age, it also raised questions about where childhood ends and business begins when you're born into a family that can turn almost anything into a brand. Then, in 2023, North reached the very grown and seasoned age of 10. We are obviously joking because 10 is nowhere near grown. Keyboard warriors, stand down. These are jokes. That same year, she gave her first solo interview to ID magazine. And besties, when they asked North to describe herself in 3 words, her answer was, the best ever. Kanye Jr.? Mini Ye? Yeezy 2? The confidence clearly wasn't hiding anywhere.
I hope someone recorded that. She called me the GOAT. I don't know if I'll ever get that again. Just kidding.
North also talked about wanting to become a businesswoman when she grows up and potentially owning her parents' brands one day. She made it clear that performing is something she genuinely enjoys, crediting her dad for that influence, while saying her love of fashion came from both parents. And when it came to her own sense of style, North didn't play shy about that either, describing herself as a style icon. Style icon already? Now that's a mighty big title for somebody who's still growing up. Confidence is cool, but with Kanye as your dad, people are naturally going to crack jokes about that larger-than-life West family ego. Keep the confidence, just sprinkle a little humility on top, and let the resume build itself. By 2024, though, North was moving beyond being the famous kid who occasionally appeared in campaigns, videos, and TikToks. Now she was stepping directly into major live performances. In May of that year, 11-year-old North was announced as part of the Lion King 30th anniversary celebration at the Hollywood Bowl, performing alongside established names like Jennifer Hudson, Jason Weaver, and Nathan Lane. That's a serious stage with some serious talent. And that's exactly why the announcement got people talking. Some viewers questioned how North landed such a high-profile opportunity so early in her performing career, while others pointed out that being born into an extremely connected entertainment family obviously opens doors most young performers could only dream about. The timing added another layer to the chatter. Blue Ivy Carter had already generated major attention through her own performances and her involvement with Mufasa, the Lion King. So when North suddenly landed a major Lion King appearance too, comparisons started flying. Critics online called North's opportunity another example of the Nepo baby conversation surrounding Hollywood, suggesting that famous parents and powerful connections can provide access that ordinary performers simply don't have. That doesn't prove Kim or Kanye personally engineered the opportunity, but the optics had people asking questions. What in the Big Bird and Sesame Street crossover is happening with these celebrity families? Underneath all the jokes, though, there was a real question people kept asking. Was North chosen because she was genuinely the best fit for that particular performance, or did having the Kardashian West name help open that door? Is that even a rhetorical question, bestie? Some viewers criticized the performance and argued that North seemed less experienced than the seasoned performers around her, but that's where the conversation needs some perspective. We're talking about a young performer sharing a huge stage with industry veterans. If she's serious about performing, connections and famous DNA can only open the door. Training, rehearsal, structure, discipline, and solid mentorship are what helps somebody grow once they're inside. And the criticism wasn't only about her vocals. Some viewers also felt the performance appeared under-rehearsed and questioned whether enough preparation had happened before putting North on such a massive stage. Instead of putting all that heat on a child, much of the criticism shifted toward the adults responsible for guiding her career. People argued that if you're going to give a young performer an opportunity that big, you should also make sure they have the coaching and preparation needed to handle it. Kim later addressed the criticism herself. She acknowledged that North wasn't some Whitney Houston-level vocalist and recognized that people would naturally assume her daughter received opportunities because of her famous parents. But Kim didn't seem too bothered by the chatter, maintaining that North has her own presence and star power. In Kim's eyes, North is the moment. Now Kim, this is where some of that responsibility has to land on the parents. North was only 11 years old. She's still a child, so if she's being placed on a stage that massive, the adults around her should be making sure rehearsals, coaching, and preparation come first. Forget all the other Kardashian chaos for a minute. If you're opening these huge doors for your child, you also have to make sure she's prepared for what comes through them. If North genuinely loves performing, that's great. If she wants to sing, dance, act, and eventually become a star, cool. But there's a major difference between supporting a child's interests and putting them in a position where millions of strangers can publicly pick apart their performance. At that age, proper training and guidance matter just as much as the opportunity itself. And the parents aren't the only adults worth questioning here. The people producing these major shows know exactly what a name like Northwest brings: headlines, attention, curiosity, and potentially more ticket interest. So, critics can reasonably ask whether the Kardashian West name was valuable to the production too. Everybody benefits from the buzz, while the youngest person involved can end up facing the harshest reaction. Then came another round of controversy in August 2025. Page 6 reported that 12-year-old North was photographed during a family trip to Rome wearing a corset-style top, miniskirt, platform boots, and a long turquoise wig. The pictures immediately sparked debate online, with some people criticizing Kim and questioning how much freedom a child that age should have when dressing for highly publicized outings. Of course, plenty of young people experiment with clothes, hairstyles, and different looks while figuring out their identity. The difference here is the size of the spotlight. North isn't experimenting privately like most kids her age. Every outfit can become a headline, get dissected online, and turn into another Kardashian controversy within hours. That puts extra responsibility on the adults managing her public exposure. Kim eventually addressed that backlash herself during an appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast. We know Kim sees the same headlines everybody else sees. And yes, North clearly has a strong personality and her own ideas about what she wants to wear and how she wants to express herself. But she's still young, which means the adults around her have the responsibility to set boundaries and decide what should stay private instead of becoming content for millions of people to debate. And that Rome outfit wasn't the only look that had people side-eyeing the situation. North later posted content where she appeared with icy blue contacts, fake face tattoos, and a fake nose piercing. What in the Kenya Moore meets Lil Wayne crossover is going on here? To be clear, the tattoos and nose piercing weren't real, they were part of the look. Still, some viewers weren't comfortable with the image and questioned whether that kind of content needed to be shared so publicly at her age. Kids experiment with style all the time, but most kids don't have millions of eyes analyzing every experiment like it's breaking celebrity news. Then North kicked off 2026 with another moment that got people talking when she showed off a finger piercing. But wait, besties, reports and posts indicated this wasn't even her first one. It was her second finger piercing. And once again, the bigger question isn't whether strangers personally like her fashion choices. The real issue is how the adults around a young celebrity handle boundaries when practically everything she does can become content, controversy, and clicks. North has plenty of time to experiment and figure out who she wants to be, but doing that under a worldwide microscope comes with a completely different level of pressure. Let me tell you what might actually help. Give North some time away from the celebrity bubble altogether. Chicago, somewhere quieter, anywhere she can just be a kid without every outfit, TikTok, and decision turning into content. Because once you get past the fashion debates, the clothes were honestly the least complicated part of this story. In 2025, Kanye took things in an even more controversial direction when North appeared on Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine, a song that also featured King Combs and his father, Sean Diddy Combs. Diddy? Lord, not Diddy? At the time, Combs was facing serious federal charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking allegations, which he denied. So naturally, people questioned why a child needed to be anywhere near a collaboration carrying that much controversy. Whatever Kanye's artistic reasoning may have been, the decision immediately created another parenting debate. According to reports, Kim took legal steps in an effort to prevent North from being included on the track, while Kanye publicly pushed back during their dispute over the song. And people had another question: why did this particular battle become so public? Kanye and Kim share 4 children, yet North's career moves repeatedly seem to generate the biggest headlines and the loudest clashes between her parents. Then, by February 2026, people reported that Kim had moved North from private school to homeschooling as her entertainment commitments continued growing. A source told the outlet that North had a strong sense of personal style and self-expression, suggesting that a traditional private school environment wasn't necessarily the best fit for her individuality. But that explanation opened up a whole new conversation. When a child's education starts being adjusted around an expanding entertainment career, people are naturally going to ask which one is being expected to bend around the other. In Kim's mind, homeschooling reportedly gives North more freedom to explore her interests and talents in a hands-on way. And as of this video, North is scheduled to take another major step into music by joining 21-year-old rapper and singer Molly Santana on tour, with dates reportedly planned across 14 U.S. cities and one stop in Canada. Now, besties, I need to see who's actually buying these tickets. Reveal yourself in the comments. Raise your hand if you're pulling up specifically to watch North perform. I need to study the demographic real quick because I'm curious who this tour is really speaking to. North does appear genuinely interested in music, fashion, and performing, and she's publicly talked about those interests herself. But considering how quickly these opportunities keep getting bigger, it's fair to question whether her career is moving faster than her age and experience. And that's where the history of child stardom becomes relevant. We've watched plenty of young entertainers grow up, surrounded by adults telling them they're special, marketable, iconic, and destined to be the next big thing. That kind of attention can create enormous pressure, especially when someone's identity starts becoming connected to applause, headlines, views, and public approval before they've even finished growing up. Because fame can switch up fast. What happens when audiences move on, online comments become harsher, or expectations grow faster than someone's skills can realistically develop? And what happens when a young person's normal process of figuring themselves out is happening in front of millions of strangers? That's before getting into the broader pressures that can come with growing up famous. Constant scrutiny, adult expectations, access to spaces most kids never enter, and the pressure to keep feeding an audience that always wants something new. The spotlight can look glamorous from the outside, but growing up inside of it is a completely different story. We've seen enough former child stars speak about the pressure of working young, being constantly watched, and having their childhood mixed with business to know that fame can come with a serious cost. And nobody should be rooting for that kind of outcome for North. The goal should be for her to grow, explore her music and fashion interests, and figure out who she wants to become without feeling like she has to perform for the internet every second. She's still young, and the adults around her have a responsibility to protect that part of her life. Because fame, money, headlines, and viral moments can always be created again, childhood can't. Years from now, North may look back and love every opportunity she had, or she may feel differently about having so much of her life played out publicly. None of us can know that answer for her today. But what do you think? Is North simply a confident young entertainer chasing the things she genuinely loves? Or are the adults around her allowing the celebrity machine to move too fast? Drop your thoughts in the comments and keep the conversation respectful. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, like the video, share it with somebody who keeps up with celebrity drama, and subscribe to Star Watch for more stories breaking down what's really happening behind the biggest headlines.